So normally we have all the hackathons and workshops on the next day of the conference, but today I'm already giving a workshop / hackathon. I don't know exactly what the difference is, but it's fine. So for the next hour and a half, okay, I'll first start with a very short presentation about what this is actually going to be about. And then everyone needs to form a group of about 5 people. And I've set up some exercises that you can work on to basically convert your wiki to using array functions and make it Parsoid-compatible. And after that, there's going to be a presentation about parser updates, which also regard to Parsoid and how things are going to change in that regard, and the state of variables and other state-based extensions.
Can you explain why this is important?
Yes. So currently we have the old MediaWiki parser, which allows for state-based parser functions. So you can specify, I want to declare a variable here, I want to use it here, and I want to increment it later on the page. Because Parsoid is going to be parallelized, this will no longer work, because 2 snippets of wiki text will be cached in different ways and maybe actually executed or rendered in parallel, so you can no longer have that statefulness in your wiki text. But I'll also explain that in a bit more detail in this presentation, which is about 5 slides. But let's first have a break of about 10 minutes, maybe.
10 minutes. Okay.
5 to 10 minutes. But maybe some people also want to get coffee or drinks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say 14:35. So in 10 minutes we are back.
Okay, so let's start. Are people on the Zoom able to hear me again? Can anyone check? Yes? All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'll just wait for these annoying students to go away. I'm going to be talking about making wikis Parsoid-compatible. And after this very short presentation, it's going to take like 5 minutes, we're going to do a workshop. I have prepared exercises for everyone, which you can do in groups. But I'll have a slide that explains everything at the end of the presentation. So the objective of the workshop are to understand what functional parser functions are. So functional parser functions, basically just parser functions that don't have any side effects, aren't stateful like variables. You will learn how to utilize Lua and Skribuntu to replace variables and also other stateful extensions. And you will learn how to utilize array functions in combination with Lua to make this process a bit more bearable. And you should have fun, hopefully. So what exactly is the current problem with Parsoid? So as you might have all heard, the current MediaWiki parser is going away and will be replaced by Parsoid in the near future.
Excuse me, do you share your screen?
Yeah, I should be sharing my screen because I'm not connected to the beamer or something.
Yeah, okay, because there are some complaints on the Zoom chat.
What are they complaining about?
Okay, just go on, sorry.
All right. How do I minimize? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the problem with Parsoid is that it will no longer support these stateful extensions, like I said before the break, because they are going to parallelize the processing of wiki text. So a bunch of chunks of wiki text. For instance, if you have a page with template A and template B, instead of first parsing template A because that is located before template B, they will parse those in parallel. And you can no longer rely on state defined before some other template call. you can no longer rely that that state is available because the parser can't guarantee that that will be parsed before some other piece of wiki text later on the page. So this will impact quite a lot of extensions, for instance, arrays, variables, loops, hash tables, and numer alpha, because these all use some kind of state-based system, because they require you to define a variable before you actually use it. But like I said, this doesn't work with Parsoid. So how are we going to be able to use these technologies or use a similar technology in the Parsoid era? So the solution that we came up with is to do all computation, so all the stateful things, all the math, all the querying of Semantic MediaWiki, we all do that in Lua, which is Parsoid compatible and can still be state-based, because you basically encapsulate all your computation into a single parser function call. But keep all the presentations still in wiki text. So the things such as rendering HTML, rendering wiki text elements, rendering links, that all still happens in wiki text. So why do we do all the computation in Lua? Because it's Parsoid compatible. Furthermore, Lua is a real scripting language and not some kind of hacky ad hoc way to call to PHP through some parser function and not have real data types. Lua has real data types. You can use integers, you can use strings. It's much more flexible and much easier for computation. But we keep all the presentations still in Wikitext to make use of these awesome features that Wikitext was meant for, that Wikitext was originally created for, and that is creating a layout on a page that just looks decent. And also it's more familiar than Lua for at least, there's a question first?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you in mid-sentence.
That's fine, yeah.
So my question is, you talk about computation and presentation, of course, using Semantic MediaWiki, there's a lot of setting semantic properties as well, which often happen within an array map. Am I correct in that that keeps working because that is one parser function that iterates over all the elements that are then in another parser function in the same context set as a semantic property?
Yes, exactly. So you can still use array map because that's a functional parser function. You get an array, you do some computation, and you return some result. That will all keep working. And the set will also keep working. But you can also do sets inside of Lua, which is what we are going to do. Or not in this exact workshop, but which you can do. And another benefit of separating the computation and the presentation is that you have a real separation of concerns. You can have one developer that deals with just the computation side and one developer that deals with styling on the wiki text side or on some other stuff.
Remco, so you can use array maps, but what you can't do is define an array and then use it and then do something with it in an array map. No, that is clear. That's clear. But you can use a comma-separated string and just then use that as input to the array map. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it is in one and the same template?
Yeah, so when you can't define an array in a template and then in the same template rely that array is available later in the wiki text.
And the same goes for var define.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what this is about.
Yeah. Okay. So I was working under the assumption that you have a var define and a var retrieval within one template, and only in this template that this can still be used.
No, that is not guaranteed by Parsoid. Maybe they'll change it, maybe they won't, but that's not guaranteed at the moment. Okay, so this is the end of the presentation, the introductory presentation. So I want you all to form groups of a number of people. I said 3 to 5, but feel free to work alone or work with 10 people.
Feel 3 to 4.
And I'll assign everyone a number, so everyone can, I made 12 groups on this wiki, and you can log into your group, and I'll assign every group a number. So please don't form more than 12 groups, because then I'll have to add more groups, and that's quite annoying. if you are working online, by the way, you can also just join. I'll put the passwords on the slide in a bit, or on the screen in a bit. And you can just do the same, and I'll assign you a number through the chat. So just say, I'm working on it, and I'll send you a number. I hope it works somewhat okay. So go to smwcon2023.wikibase.nl, log in, and you see a screen with all the groups. Click on your group, and there are a bunch of instructions there that you can start working. If you have a question, just raise your hand and I'll walk over to you. You can also use the Zoom chat for questions because Lieselot will be in there, which is a colleague of mine, and she will answer questions on there.
How are people online going to be?
The same as here, but you will just work alone probably, or maybe at home with a number of people through another Zoom call. It's pretty free form. So start forming groups now.
Which group do we want?
What group?